Hi there, my name is Kululwa Muthwa and welcome to Property Market Moves. Now today I'm sitting with a property guru.
Wow, that name guru has always worried me. I don't know what the qualification is to be a guru.
I don't know as well. As I was driving here, I was thinking of another guest and I'm thinking, when we call them like, a property legend, that qualification.
Please let me have the guru application form. I'll sign it and then say, these are my qualifications and you can judge.
All right, Kura, how are you?
I thrive. Thank you. I'm so blessed. I'm grateful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And yourself?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
You're looking very sporty, like you were doing something.
I'm telling you, I was cleaning up Joburg. Yeah, so today the mayor launched, actually yesterday they had a media campaign, and today we started, cleaning up Joburg for the next 3 days. So yeah, it's important work, and everyone must just come in there and clean up our cities.
Wow, investor sentiment. If you look at the turnaround of New York City, it was a crime and grime. They started with Times Square, a very visible monument where lots of tourists go. The ball drops at New Year.
Yeah.
So they said, look, if we're going to fix the city, let us create a positive outcome. So they fixed it. There was gambling, prostitution, all sorts of funny stuff.
And they cleaned all of that up.
They cleaned it up from Times Square, and then that radiated out. That brought investor attraction. So I totally get and support what you and the mayor are doing.
And I think more importantly, just getting I was thinking last night, active citizenry. What does that look like? Because it's easy to stand on the sidelines and say, our city is so dirty, but we contribute towards it, actually. How many times have you driven past a car and someone throws something out the window? I just want to hoot when I see that. Or, I just become...
Yeah, and the blue light guys live in Branston and what have you. You and I are on the streets. I are renting there. So we've got to keep our city correct. I get you that.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Okay, so we jump into it.
Yes,
Who is Kura?
Kura is a Southern African migrant.
Yeah.
Born in Lusaka, grew up in Zimbabwe. Got a mortgage and a tax number in South Africa.
Okay.
So proud father of two.
Yeah.
Real estate person. I hope an educator. I think as I get older, my life has been a certain way because of people giving me opportunities and talking to me about stuff.
Yeah.
I live a pretty comfortable life, but now it has to be more than that. I've got to say, how do I get more people in real estate benefiting to improve their lives? So I think that's Kura.
Okay. And what fascinates you most about real estate?
The ability to apply imagination, right? So an accountant, a chartered accountant has an IFRS rule book.
Yeah.
A chartered surveyor has the red book. Those are defined.
Yeah.
But outside of that, you and I can look at a stand or a plot and we can do a feasibility and we can exercise our imagination. We can repurpose it. We can rezone it. And because, you don't have to sit behind a computer and wait for a Zoom call at 9. We can exercise our agency, our creativity, and build something that's there. It's just endlessly fascinating. I love it every morning to wake up to say, what can I do today?
Yesterday I was at an event. I'm not going to advertise them. And they had this, I'm sure you'll see it. They had this tagline which is speaking to, a new lens of possibility. I loved it.
Okay.
A new lens of possibility.
Sure.
And I thought, absolutely. We need to look at possibility differently.
And access it. Thoughts are thoughts, but timed, planned, resourced actions, those change the world.
And when we talk about possibility and, outside of a rule book, naturally there are risks, right, that you take. So when you look back at your career, are there any risks that you took that paid off massively or tanked massively?
So you just decided to go deep, eh? Yeah. I thought we were going to be shallow and polite, Paid off.
Yeah.
Borrowing money in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe has a funny habit of changing currency.
Okay.
So you take a big number loan, and then the currency does what it does, and then the currency is worth less. So that paid off massively. There's some things that Nkulunkulu looked after me, and some bullets I dodged. I look at some properties. There was a property.
God was good there.
Oh, amen, all the time. There was a property that I looked at in Bryanston, and it was pre-COVID. I was going to buy it from a listed fund. You know, you're going to put in a lot of small equity, a lot of debt.
Yeah.
And if I'd done that, and then that little thing called COVID happened, things would be quite different if that deal had gone through. So we always complain about God's delays and denials. On that one, he took the wheel. He knew what he was doing. And so that one didn't blow up. Yeah.
Okay. And any, massive, maybe not even massive, some failures that, still hurt?
Sure. When finances go wobbly, instead of sitting down with the bank and restructuring something, you freeze and you seize and you have a property sold on sheriff auction. Very humbling experience. It's easy and fun when the money hits your account, but when it's your name on a summons and it goes by the hammer, it's painful, but lesson learned.
Yeah. And as you speak of that, I think there's a certain type of mindset, right? That we, whenever we see or hear or, of someone having assets liquidated for one reason or another, or a business, closing, I think especially when we have not tried anything, we see it as something to laugh at or frown upon, but actually a lot of successes are coming from that, having a number of seizures along the way. Yep. To gain in the long run, there are short-term losses,
and some things are just not fundable, or you haven't done the right structure, and it goes south. And when it goes south, it was a growth lesson. You've got to own up. You've got to face it. You can't ignore phone calls.
Sure.
You can't ignore the sheriff. And my father would have said, deal with it head on. I didn't deal with it head on. So it dealt with me head on.
Are there any lessons that the youth could take, from those to try and maybe manage the risk better? Or I don't know if there's a way to avoid it.
I hope there's a way to avoid it, and that's planning with 3 levels. So risk management is really playing the game to the level that you can afford to lose.
Yeah.
Right? You can't gamble your whole future. You can't put all your eggs in one basket. I know, very boring cliches, but manage something that if it goes wrong, you can make a plan. And saving or creating instruments. So if you're doing a lease, fantastic. You want to get your 11% yield, great. But can you afford for that money not to come in 1, 2, 3, 5 months? And if you can't, then take out some insurance, have a plan B, have some cash to fund when the tenant's not paying the bond. Can you chip in?
Sure.
Do you have a relationship with your banker to say, guys, this is what's happened. Can we, so risk management is in the people, it's in the product, and it's in the property. In the property, you've got to make sure that it's not such a specific property that if this one goes bang, you can't find another tenant for 8 months.
Sure.
You want to have something that you can quite easily get somebody else in.
Okay. You've worked across different African markets outside of South Africa. What are there any distinguishing characteristics from South Africa to, say, a Zimbabwe or another another market in the continent?
Yes. Outside of South Africa, private equity or money out of your pocket has a very stronger voice. So here in South Africa, the formula is 30% equity, 70% debt, 70% national tenant. That recipe stops kind of at the Limpopo. When you go to Harare, a board is going to make a decision and they're going to put in equity, and the bank is sadly not at the table. And a bank can be a great partner because those very painful, boring due diligences, is there a title deed? Is the zoning place? Have we checked that the deeds are clean? Have you signed up the tenants before you started? Because we love, north of the Limpopo, ribbon cutting disease is a real thing. The chief, the big man, wants to be in the press cutting the ribbon saying, oh, we're going to do 1,000 houses. Yo.
And then you go back and find out that person we bought the land from doesn't actually own the land.
Wow. So our Africa is starved of capital, but is wild with opportunity. Then if you look at the South African developers, so I've been going to these API conferences for 15 years. And I remember the first and second one being held in Sandton, and developers full of ego and bravado were saying, oh, we're going to go into Africa, we're going to get dollar leases, we're going to make 10% yields, we're going to make so much money. To the last man, they've come back to South Africa crying because Africa's ni for sisisni. The size of the market, the nuances of the market. So you've seen just recently, ShopRite has closed out of Ghana, out of Malawi. Previously, it was Nigeria and I'm forgetting somewhere else. But they've retreated back to the home market because home is what you understand. African markets have a very bespoke local intention, capital markets behavior, tenants behavior. So that's the difference. South Africa, you guys, just as you call Cape Town the Republic of Cape Town, you guys, South Africa, you're Africa light. Up that side. Yo, batu bamutimo.
Man. Okay. So when we look at property cycles, what stage would you say we are in South Africa?
I'm trying to remember my notes from Professor Viruli.
Yeah, man. Friends, Oh, you were there at this whole Gumede lecture.
Absolutely.
That meant, you see now, that's a legend.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And
when we find that definition, we can say Francois Veruli.
Legend. But you see, because he's a teacher and he gives away his information and he engages enthusiastically and he asks you. So the impact he's had on people's lives have gone into our lives and we've done other things. So I celebrate minds like that. And Tate Gumede, same story. He will talk to you. We have a partnership in Zimbabwe. He's come to Zim. Sure. He's met the people. I think he's been there 2-3 times. We go and sit in a boardroom and we have credibility because he's been on the mountain and he's done the work. And now he's here to share and leverage and cooperate, and much respect. That's why I can't miss that lecture any time of the year.
Yeah. So maybe then in the definition, based on what you're saying now, legendary, it can't just end with you. It has to be about something that you impart, empower other people and share the knowledge that you have and
how
bring
many
people
of us,
along.
How many of us were in the room at that time? It was all just love. It was people telling you, hey, I was an intern back in Dijala. I was an intern when we did the MTN campus, or where he has woven himself into our lives and being great at that. So I think that's the measure of a man, the impact. One day, and Mashilo said it, we don't want to put flowers on your grave.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's too late. We want to celebrate you while you're alive. And that's a beautiful thing. And congratulations to Mashilo and Eka for recognizing that and creating the platform.
Absolutely. Okay, so is the market good? Where are we?
We are battling, right? So in the residential space, you would know that I'm what's the other term? Property practitioner under the PPRA. Yes. I should have been giving you my Fidelity Fund certificate number to be fully compliant. In the residential space, volumes are down. In the construction space, building plans passed are down. In the borrowing space, consumers are constrained. So real estate is an absolutely one-to-one response to leverage. So when interest rates are high, we buy less of it. When they're low, we tend to buy more of it. So we've had some encouragement.
Yeah.
But remember, you would probably have been at some seminar or conference last year when it was reasonably predicted that we were going to have 3, maybe 4 rate cuts, 0.25, 0.25, 0.25. When America stopped doing it, Lesecha Khanyago stopped doing it, and then we got to just standing still. Now money is expensive, right? Money is at double digits. The prime is at 10.5. Mina, now if we go put in a bond application now, it's going to be 11% because they put on 0.6 nyana, something like that. At 11%, it's very hard to buy property. So those of us who use a salary to buy property are constrained. When you go with a business case to the bank and you're wanting to do a development, it's fantastic to pop up with a Fernridge demographic report. The tenants who are occupying the space, go and look at the malls around. I stay in Bryanston, and if you look at the Bryanston Center, the tenants they've split, right? So you still have a Woolworths, a Clicks, and a ShopRite. Those are your nationals. Everybody else, and I'm not knocking them, Pakistani cell phone shops, shisha shops, local barbers, a lady who sells water. So
in
Bryanston. In Bryanston. So it is a market that has retreated. Your Pick and Pays have closed down shops in their reorganization. Nobody is willy-nilly chasing market share. So they've consolidated their portfolios, and that puts stress on everybody. A tenant, you pick up the results of Growth Point or Redefine. The number I always dive down to analyze is retention ratio and your reversion ratio, because it's all well and good to have a beautiful spreadsheet saying, oh, we've got 11,000 tenants and our average escalation is 5%. When that lease comes up, what are you renewing at? Because it would have escalated above market. In the office space, everything has gone backwards. You can move out of what you were getting a B grade rental for. You're going to get a deal out of a listed property company. You're going to get A grade space with a hectic fit out, with all sorts of bells and whistles. Literally, you can get air miles. I saw one landlord was offering air miles if you do a transaction with them. Air miles. Wow. We can fly to Cape Town because we moved into a building. So that to me expresses in the market, there's hyper competition and there is a static, if not dwindling pool of bankable tenants. And we know real estate is a vehicle for tenants to occupy space, but you've got to attract them, retain them, and keep them cash flowing.
My goodness. So as a property investor then that is looking into getting into the market, and perhaps this could also then speak to, the common mistakes that investors make and how they can be avoided. I think with that case study, what is the future looking like?
If I knew the future, you and I wouldn't be sitting here.
We would be trillionaires.
We would have the K&K Development Company.
I'm adding myself.
Absolutely.
To whatever I'm adding myself. Sure. But I mean, what should we not be doing? Seeing that it's looking the way it is, or we're hoping then that when the Reserve Bank, changes, the economy turns, the situation will turn.
I think we've got to look at the prognosis of the economy. Let's go deeper, right? Mm-hmm. So I did a TikTok where I was standing at a building in Sandton, where a listed property company 5 years ago, 10 years ago, nobody wanted to talk about residential, right? But this is an office block in Sandton that had office tenants 5 years ago. Post-COVID, can't let the thing. So they've redeveloped it into residential. Okay. And the price point is coming in at 6.7, 7 grand, right? So now Tabang, who's come out of university, wants accommodation and he wants to leave. He grew up in Meadowlands, but now he wants to be closer to work because he's working at a bank just up the road.
Sure.
His money is not moneying enough for him to buy where he wants to live. So he's going to rent where he wants to live. So in that rental space, you have seen, if in my head is correct, about 17,000 units being built exclusively for rental. So that is seeing this affordability gap. If you wanted to enter into the market, average property price in South Africa is 1.6 million. 1.6 million, you're going to need about 10K a month in a bond.
Yeah.
And then on top of the bond, you've got levies, which are knocking $2,000. It's a lot of money. You're out 12 grand, or you can rent for 7. So that gap has created a safe space for people to play.
Okay.
And that safe space is, 40 billion rand has gone into that space.
Yeah.
What are we learning? What are we understanding? It tells me 2 things. One, look at the numbers. Average first-time home buyer is now age 39. So people are buying late.
Jeez.
So between 23 when they finish school and 39 when they buy,
goodness,
where they're going to stay, let's provide them something. And then if you look at operating costs like levies in a sectional title, those things are scary. What are the non-sectional title properties that we can invest in from the 16,000 or 17,000 units overall, but in not body corporate controlled properties?
Okay.
Be they back rooms where you're paying one municipal bill and then you can prepay the water.
Yeah.
You don't have that big cost chunk, which is sectional title levies. I know the CSOS guys are not happy that I'm saying that, but it's a worry. It's a worry.
So if we're going back to the Clean City campaign that I came from this morning, and the focus of that is cleaning up the inner cities with an intention of driving, increasing investor confidence in the inner city. Is there an opportunity there? For development or investment in inner cities?
So the inner city, hardcore Joburg, Park Central, Park Square, Noord, Brie, I think it's pretty well done, and from an attractiveness point of view. But look to Randburg. In Randburg, you'll see, I can think of 5 out of the box, out of the ground developments, because it's on a transport route you can get a Patco to Soweto, you can get a Gautrain to take you to the station, and then you can go to Pretoria or Centurion or wherever. So I am tipping Randburg, Auckland Park for students as accommodation. Those have a deep natural demand and are more attractive. You get a higher rental, and a developer is always chasing yield than a Joburg CBD property, but not to say it's bombed out or bottomed out.
Sure.
It has got certain dynamics. If you are an employer or an employee, you want to know you can get in and out of work easily and simply, and not have the Metro cops or Operation Tony stopping you.
Yeah.
So you want a flow and an ease of doing business. So I would say outside of the CBD offers more sustainable, predictable, higher numerical numbers and a less volatile cash flow.
Okay. You spoke about the New York, example, which was, a very bad, outlook, really turning, which then, spoke to something that you mentioned before we started rolling on, opportunity in dust, did you call it?
Yes, ma'am.
And so because when you're looking then at areas that are somewhat, developed, and you're looking at areas that are not promising from, the naked eye, before you put on a different lens, look at possibility. In terms of yields, which area would a start out like investor? Which area should they choose? One that is somewhat developed, or one that is, still has a long way to go?
I think you want to not move faster than the market. So if you are a South African born and bred, and you have, I'm thinking Botswana and Omang, a South African ID, your government wants to give you money, right? That doesn't happen north of the Limpopo, right? Your government for 5 cents will give you 95 cents for you to have a rand, for you to develop. We're here in Gauteng, you can go to the Gauteng Partnership Fund, Kasi for you. you can go through to Trust for Urban Housing Finance and you can talk about a 10% Ntutuko loan scheme. This doesn't happen anywhere else in the world. It's right here. So do your research, partner with the huge resources that are available there. I mean, government subsidy, even at an individual level. If you want to buy a house, there's the first home finance.
Yes.
If you earn less than 22,000 a month, the government wants to chip in when you buy a house. You must qualify for a mortgage and they'll give you something. If you're earning, okay, here's a jet. If you've got a kid, right?
Yeah.
And this is for learning purposes only.
Please, you know South Africans. Go.
Little Ntabi Singh.
Yes.
She's doing her university. Right. And as a father, your pride and joy, you're giving her pocket money.
Yeah.
If you make the pocket money a salary.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And then Ntabi Singh goes to the bank and says, I want to buy a studio apartment in Randburg for 550,000. Yes. She's earning pocket money of 5,000.
Yeah.
That is income. It's taxed, sure. But she now has a pay slip. Then she can say, with my 5,000, I go to National Housing Finance Corporation, First Home Finance, and you say, government Kelimal.
Yes.
And they're going to give you a subsidy for the lowest from 3,500, I think it's 167, to if you're earning 22,500, I think it's about 17,000.
Okay.
So you fit somewhere in the range. So because we have capitalized little Ntabi Singh's pocket money, we can now buy a property which the government is going to give a grant. Here's money, not pay us back. So your 550 can come down to 450 or whatever that subsidy amount is. So that's a tip for your viewers here on the podcast.
So saying must have a UIF thingies, all those deductions, pay slip, and money goes in as a salaried employee, and then Tabi Singh starts. She's earning, not getting handouts, from...
There you go. But you've got a teacher. The bank, 25th, that money must be there. Bounce debit orders doesn't work with the bank. But it's a lesson. She'll have an asset in her name. And then when Mandla comes to come and, she'll say, I own property. When?
Now, I know that when we looked at, the comparison between South Africa to, other African markets, there was that scenario. But what can South Africa learn from other African countries?
Flexibility and downscaling. So I've got a partner in Zimbabwe. And he does literally the size of this room, this studio. Our viewers can't see the size of the studio. Yeah. But this is 12 square meters, 3 by 4. He does shopping malls with that kind of property.
Okay.
And that's where the market is at. Because the market is sustenance. People are doing for bread to eat. Yeah. They will import product from China, Turkey, South Africa, and then they'll have a small shop. And it does weaves, it does nails, it does what have you. And that is where the market is at. When I said there's money in dust, I'd love it to have been my original comment. No, you would have read the kind of literature by C.K. Prahalad talking about the fortune at the bottom of the pyramid. There's one shop, right? There's a Pick n Pay. There are a few boxes. So at the top of the pyramid, it's a tiny little number. By the time you get down to Chihota and Muyambo and there are lots of us there. So even on a tenant basis, if you've got 100 stores with 10 square meters, the chances of you getting Chihota out to bring in somebody else, quite easy. There are plenty of Moyos who can come in and replace. If you are now a Bryanston shopping center and Woolworths pulls out, you've got a problem. There are not that many replacement tenants. So I think South Africa could learn from bringing local economic development closer, but you've got that. The spazas can step it up and be organized.
Yeah.
I know it's a huge competition when ShopRite with a DC of 200,000 square meters is procuring stuff at a unit cost that's difficult to compete.
Yeah.
But there are people who have managed to make that business model work and can do it. So South Africa could learn from Africa that get closer to the people and be simpler, because you guys are sometimes too sophisticated.
What does inclusion look like for you? I mean, if we're talking transformation, what does that look like for you?
You know, you're touching me where it really hurts, right? I'm not going to name the property companies that operate on the other side of the border.
Yeah.
But there are, by last count, there were 9 South African entities that trade here. And you look at transformation in South Africa, but when they cross the border to Limpopo, the MD, the top producers are as black as you and I, right? And I'm like, but don't you guys see this? Can you not see that sales 101 is send people who look like people to deal with people, right? So transformation to me is allowing talent to rise, and from a continuity perspective, diversifying your risk.
Sure.
You can't. There was a political scientist in Zimbabwe who asked the question before 2000 in Zimbabwe, and he said, what happens if there was a hypothetical white farmer's disease? And if we're relying on 4,000 families to produce food for 80% of us, what happens systemically if something happens? And something did happen. So on this side of the border, we were in Gqeberha together, and we saw those horrible transformation stats. Somebody has to grab the bull by the horns on a heart-led basis to say, guys, this is not sustainable. Sister Portia, I called her Muruti for that day, the way she was passionately preaching about it, that, guys, we can never build a wall high enough to keep out the hungry. And we know that human beings will endlessly be inventive. We know right now there's a court case against the 21 riots where people were incited. The people were incited because why must Kululwa and Kura be running around in Air Jordans and driving Lexuses when you don't know if you've got bread in your house tonight? So transformation must be create as big a base at the bottom to include as many people as possible, to be invested in this project that is called South Africa, and unlock energy, people. The hardest working guys I know, I dodge them as I'm driving out of my house in Randburg, in Bryanston. They have come from a squatter camp on Willie Mandela Road to do recycling. It's a hard job. Come rain, sleet or snow. They know that on Wednesday in Bryanston on this route, garbage is put out. They're coming there sifting. They're taking the bottles, they're taking the plastic, they're taking what have you. Africans are not lazy, right? People want to work and do something and produce. So transformation surely is creating the stage and saying, come everybody, you have a role to play. Dance to your best ability, rather than narrowly defending, I can't give away 30% of my... No one's asking you to give away anything, but look at bigger. You will know our history in South Africa. I was part of a management team that did a management buyout. And the CEO at the time, a white Afrikaans lady, simply said, if we keep our size, we will diminish and die. If we include and expand, we expand our client base, we expand our asset valuation. Lo and behold, the first R1 million I ever saw in my life was in an employee in participation scheme where we bought the business at X. We 3x'd it, 5x'd it because we were inclusive and spoke to more clients, and there was more money for everybody. So
it's good business. It's not a handout.
It's not a handout. Not at all. Look at the market capitalization of the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. The schemes for RDP housing, social security grant, basic rural electrification. If there's electricity, somebody's going to buy a fridge and a stove.
Yeah.
60% of the Johannesburg Stock Exchange is consumer facing. You can complain all you want about, 2 million people pay tax and the 18 million grant recipients.
Yeah.
Those grant recipients are aggregate demand. ShopRite relies on that aggregate demand. So the more you have and you have an investment, the more people can afford and come into the shop, better for everybody.
So with that in mind, when we look at transformation over the however many years, or let's rather decades, I mean, if we're looking at SAIBPP, has been in existence for 30 years. The country's democracy. What gains do you believe have been made that are notable for you? And we've just spoken to, some of the gaps that we still need to fill.
So the gains are, I'm delighted to have seen brothers and sisters get to the promised land.
Yeah.
And the promised land to me is you have a product that gets to a certain scale that you can list on a stock exchange and be amongst the capitalists. The real estate game has been brutal to our brothers and sisters, but it's the market, right?
Yeah.
Growth point is probably half of what it was by market capitalization. So it's the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
But to have, and hats off to Isaac Peterson, Dipula, as over the past 5 years, for it to be the best performing stock over the past 5 years on the JSE, fantastic. If you look broader than that, there are 19 companies in the top 100, all property related. There's something about our sector that gives us that opportunity, and we've got to grab that opportunity. I am looking forward to, and I do understand the profile of the Delta board currently is more of our sisters, fantastic. But I would like to see, I'd love to see, I'm waiting to see a female Sisa Ngebulana come and bring a product to the market. They've done the work. I remember flying down, I'm going to show my age, flying down to East London and PE with Sisa, doing the leasing for Mtata Mall and what have you on one time in the morning, right? I remember looking at him and he had that fancy Nokia 9000 phone. And I said, hey, one day I'll get there. This is before his jet and Alice. And that man built a business. That man, with heart and passion, putting himself into beating Gibbs.
Yeah.
That's what the kid in Mtata, the kid in Dansani needs to see, know, feel and touch and be able to say, no. He's one of us. And if we can have a female Dr. Sisa Ngebulana, double thumbs up.
And more of them, right?
Sure.
Because sadly, there's still too few to count in 2025.
Absolutely. But I'm grateful that people have crossed to the promised land and have done some things. A pain point that I've had in my career is I remember being at a SA REITs conference, and two of my precious sisters came up to me. So at that time, I was on the Fortress board. I was on the Johannesburg Housing Company board, and I was on the PATPROP board.
Okay.
And they came to me with burning ambition in them, like, Kura, we do the same cash flows as you. We understand property like you, but why are we not on those boards? And I was quite candid. And I said, well, it's perhaps because the old boys club is old boys clubbing. Those positions were given to somebody you know and trusted him and interacted with, but that interaction was natural amongst guys. So we have, to the detriment of the industry, excluded very capable talent. You have to be super exceptional as a woman to be noticed, let alone to be having that conversation. How did I get on the Fortress board? I did a transaction. I bought a building from Mark Stevens, we related peer to peer, and he says, oh, okay, this guy's got it, seen it, done it, and let's go forward together. So until we are seen and known and repeatedly known for doing, sisters, I do understand you're on the back foot, and unfairly so. Keep on shining, keep on hustling, and be visible. Be in SAIBPP, be at SAPOA, be writing articles, blogs, LinkedIn, be visible so that you are seen as somebody who can add a voice. And I'm not saying that you're not seen as, but be accessible to the opportunity that is available.
And the value of networks, how does that, and yes, I know in this particular instance, when you got into that board, you were doing a deal, with them. But does network actually add any value?
I think networking is everything. Because nobody is going to drive to your house and say, here's an opportunity, I want to give you money, right?
Yeah.
So you want to be contactable, referenceable. So it's not just, so when somebody wants to do a transaction with you, they're going to ask, but when do you know so-and-so? And have they done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
Yeah.
I know we love producing corporate profiles and we talk about deals that we've done.
Yeah.
Trust me, somebody who's going to be putting his money. And when we're in property, there's always equity. And equity will have a loan, and that loan will have a personal surety. So you're asking me to deny Kwayedza and Simu, my 2 sons, their trust fund is being exposed. So I want to know who you are and what you've done, and have a social credit score, not just a credit score for the bank. So your networking and your ability to network, and it's fantastic. Our industry is very, very prone for that. I remember. I don't want to give away and make it sound like you're a party girl, but we've been in Cape Town, we've been in Kabeja, in Rosebank. Have a glass of wine, talk about life. Give a business card away and say, this is me. I do mortgage finance. I'm in development. I do property broking. Be visible. So networking is everything. And
for a young, Kura, I think if you went back and you had a do-over, are there things that you did that you would not do in developing your career?
Yes, there are things I would have done differently. I was grateful that I was in a rush.
Yeah.
But I could have been more prudent about it. So I was a founding shareholder and director of a residential business, but we started that 2 days before the global financial crisis. So it was a great idea, but we could have slowed down a little bit. Employment is not a bad place to be. I would have leveraged my salary a little bit smarter.
Okay.
Less personal residence.
Yeah.
Less Q5. More Toyota Corolla. More investment property. I would have studied a little broader. I love real estate. I did do my stockbroking exams. I did not complete my MBA, so I'm regretting that. What else? I would have been a bit more aggressive in commercial negotiations. So when there's equity on the table or management participation in a performance, I would have asked for more because we can create value. And the business, the biggest lesson in my past 2 years of life, never underestimate the removal of people from other people's money. So you must go and get your pound of flesh. You must demand to the max. Let them pull you back and say that's unreasonable. But when as the CEO of you, ask for it all. Ask for it all. And if they don't want, then pack up your toolbox and say, sharp, I'm going to go to where I'm respected, not tolerated.
And how do you build that muscle? The capacity to ask for it all? Because I think we tend to especially females, think, it's too much, or, I'm too much, being unreasonable. Where do you build that muscle of just going for broke?
I would like to, there's no simple answer. There are going to be some pain points.
Yeah.
You're going to see, but so-and-so got, and I didn't ask for it. So, the reference circle that you hang around with.
Yeah.
And I know we're not at the Matlanga Commission, but you must have a pair of,
You must.
you must have those things. And go for it. I was grateful. There was a particularly difficult transaction that I was doing. And my late dad is a lawyer. And he says, but why are you revealing your hand? Make it 160 and you'll be happy with 100, but go for 160. And then it pops up for 145. Like, but somebody believed in you. Somebody says no, but push the envelope. As estate agents, we should do that. We should do that more. That's our nature, to ask the world.
In a world where, I'm just imagining an open invitation to submit quotations or a tender, right? Because there are a number of entrepreneurs or whatever people call them who are, chasing work in a government environment. And what determines who gets the job, one of the things is pricing. So then how would you work around that? Because people tend to undervalue or underprice significantly because they want to be the lowest, to a point that even the project is not, does not even make sense. What can they learn, from that example?
I am criticized by the youth that I mentor. And I say to them, broke clients are a problem. If you're competing on price, you're not going to have the right conversation. You are going to attract more problems than it's worth, right?
Sure.
So when you get a call on $1 million project that's gone wrong, you are very motivated to fix it. On a 10,000, this guy is going to phone you all day, every day, 13 times a day, and it costs you too much. So to the youth, price for a reasonable life, right? So do not, and I was listening to Power FM, Given Mkari, he was talking about, I don't know why we stigmatized doing business with the government. You were even afraid to call them tenderpreneurs. Do business with the government. It's a good, safe earning potential.
Yeah.
Yes, they'll pay when they pay, maybe a bit late, but price for that. But go in head proud, priced correctly, with a margin that makes sense to you. Don't be buying yourself a problem by giving yourself a commitment and signing a tender, a supply agreement that is going to impoverish you. You're going to do the whole property management, the property development game. Property development is stacking up a cash flow and rights. We've got the right to receive this. We're going to be delivering 1,000 bales of toilet paper. On the toilet paper, here's an order number. I can go to my bank. I can invoice, discount that, and then I can buy that toilet paper from Brajo around the corner. Brajo, listen, I'm going to give you 40% down, balance on payment, but because I've given you 40% down, I want a bit of a discount. So you are leveraging every interaction in your value chain, from procurement to the supply to the payment of suppliers, and you are then pricing for comfort. And if it's not comfortable, don't stress yourself. You can get yourself in huge trouble by biting off a project that doesn't cash flow. Cash flow is everything. Profitability is another story, but it has to cash flow because the sheriff knows where you live. And
what about a foot in the door? Just want to get in. And then once I am inside, then I can maneuver, VAs, what.
I know you don't go to nightclubs, but Mina, now we don't want to get our foot in the door in the VIP section, because when that 10 grand bottle comes across, I'm not there. So I'll say that's for other people. Stay that side. Me, I know I can buy my castle lights this side and I'm fine. Know yourself and design a life for comfort. Not the ulcers that we can create. But hey, I've got this tender, I need to fulfill it. But the cash flow can kill you.
Yeah. All right. As we wrap up, there's a question from the guest we hosted previously. And it says, what would you tell a young person, or rather a property enthusiast, about patience, risk, and timing?
Those are triplets of the same mother. Patience is property. My late mentor, Ian Fife, always says property is the best get rich slowly scheme there is. It takes time to transfer. If you're an agent, hey, by the time somebody's signed, bond approved, a clearance certificate issued, it's 3 months. So be patient. It's going to come. When you're investing, invest for the circumstances that are coming, right? So if you're buying an apartment, your first one, if you're buying a back room or building back rooms, look for what's happening around in the area. Is it uplift? Is there more coming? Is there greater demand? Because that's what's going to cause your value to appreciation. And then timing. If you read about Sam Zell, the grave dancer, biggest, the father of REITs in America, biggest investor in equity office or equity residential, he swore, he was just a rude guy. And he says, if it's cheaper to buy it than build it, don't be effing stupid. Just buy it, right? So when you've got an asset trades sometimes at a premium, sometimes at a discount, nothing radical about it. If you look at the Johannesburg Stock Exchange right now, we have discounts to net asset value in the property funds. Buy it because you can't replace it at that cost. And as things normalize, activity, as inflation, which is being kept under bay, but we're now seeing in the REIT space, we're seeing greater percentages. In South Africa, the REIT payout, I think, is 75%, but Abo Hyprop Redefiner hitting 90% payouts. So they're giving us cash back. So that's telling us there's cash that's coming in. If you're buying in on a lower or historically lower asset price, then you're winning more income. You've bought in cheaper. So the timing is reading the tea leaves and saying, I'm going to buy it because I've got a long-term view and I'm going with that asset.
Wow. There you have it. I hope you have learned. I know I did. And please do follow us, like, subscribe, and share with your community so that you do not grow alone. Thank you for your time, Kura.
I appreciate your time and your interest, and let's make Africa green for all of us.
Absolutely. All right.
Nyawonga.